Hey, thanks for reaching out again to me. And basically, after the DM I did the other day. So basically, here I basically create a very simple proposal for Veloy. In order to hyperscale their subs, their newsletter subs, from 62K to 100K. Um, so basically, these are the stuff that we're gonna do. In order to aim for 100K subscribers, right, or more, there are two parts of the growth funnel. One is the outreach building, and another one is the conversion optimization. So the goal here is we need to 10x both parts of the funnel. However, in this presentation, I'm only going to cover the conversion optimization part, and we can do another call or another meeting in order to discuss the outreach building, because this is already going to be a lot, it's a lot to cover, which you're going to hear from me in the next few minutes. Right. Um, so basically, zooming in to the conversion optimization, there are basically 3 point formula. Based on what I've learned from your competitors, the Reloy competitors. For example, we have R360, Tiger 21, and Cinegros. So, for these three, right, there are three common things that I noticed that they did perfectly, which resemble the 3 point formula that I have here. One is being the philanthropic sense, number two is social proof, and number three is viral loop. All right. So, first thing first, addressing the elephant in the room. This is most important. So basically, as I did, it's always a standard thing where um, I would definitely look for the company, on the net to see what's going on and what is the company all about and everything. And interestingly, this is what I found. Veloy part, being part of the UK scammer alert, which is, luckily it's not that huge. The subscribing is not even huge enough. So, but it is still going to impact the credibility and shuns away the potential subscribers. If you go to the YouTube link and the comments, you will see that there are a lot of people thinking of going into becoming a subscriber in the site, but then they end up seeing this video and then they said like, yeah, thank God for this video, or else I might have fall for the scam. So this is the thing that we really need to kind of address in order to improve and the conversion rate here, because here you can see that clearly people are interested to find out about Veloy, so you already have impressions there. The only thing is that the impressions doesn't convert as a subscriber just because of this kind of video. So we have to do, in order to address this, I would recommend doing something like
Okay, so
this.
making
For example, here this is where we will need micro influencers, that does, or reviewers who cover wealth private clubs review, for example, like Lux Cap, and we get them to review Veloy, and then ensure that they, whatever that they review, the keyword focus is going to be something like exclusive clubs or is Veloy legit. uh, you know because of that, what we're gonna do here is that instead of people searching for this and found this, for example, they might search for Veloy scam, or is Veloy scam, or is Veloy legit. Instead of them saying this video, we're gonna pop it, we're gonna make sure that the the review video goes on top of that. So in a way where we're kind of trying to do a counter, it's a counter video to that allegation made by by this UK scammer alert, right? So we're trying to build that trust, saying that, hey, look, we're not a scam, we're a valid private member club, and yeah, and you can safely trust us. So this would allow users to kind of like, okay, yeah, okay, even though there is this, right, but then there is also this, something like this to help kind of restore that reputation and credibility, and it will also help them to convert even more. So the first step is kind of to address this by by having not only one reviewer, right? Better if we have like more than one. Maybe we can get 3 to 5 reviewers of in YouTube, making videos about Veloy. This way, the ratio is 5 to 1. Again, that means there's only one that mentioned it's scam, but then there's 5 people supporting it. So that's gonna allow people to judge, like, okay, yeah, this is a believable business. Now, the next thing here is that another thing that I feel like is a big red flag for people to join, and again, this is social proof related, is that there's no way for people to see who is the team behind Veloy. There's no partner list, even though there is partners mentioning in the you know in the site. There's when I click here, it doesn't go anywhere. It just goes to the contact page. So this is a big red flag. And also, the only way people can find your team management, the leadership team, is through finding the founder's profile on LinkedIn. And again, this is definitely not not an advisable thing for social proof, especially if we're trying to position ourselves as the premium league, right? We're trying to get people to understand that we are the creme de la creme of the you know for private parties, for private functions and everything. We gotta we gotta go- you know we gotta have to earn that trust, in order to like really get them to handhold with us, and make that connection, make that bond. So instead of this, we should do this. This is one thing I like about our 360 and Tiger 21, is that they openly boast, or put their management team into the highlight, like into the forefront, customer facing, so that people can see, oh, okay, there is a legit team behind here. This is gonna be great. Like, I know that I can trust my money, by putting my money into the newsletter subscribing. I know that the team behind it is believable, trustable, and reliable. So I would definitely highly recommend us having this more, if possible. If we don't have a huge team yet, hire a team. Doesn't have to be, we don't have to spend um, too much money on the on paying these guys. We can definitely do like an equity base or something, equity based on shared values and everything. And so that, again, the goal is to expand the team, making sure that it is believable in the eye of the audience, and increasing the social proof, which also will increase the conversion in the end. All right. So now, another thing that really bothers me is that when I did a Veloy search on Google, I see this kind of stuff where you have stuff like Webflow website template here going on, which is definitely not a good idea. When you have Webflow template pages indexed on Google, definitely doesn't add up to that credibility. I would definitely, what I would do, is that I would definitely go to the website, source code, and order and write something, for the robots, for the bots, the Google bots, not to index these pages, so that it's a no index rule there, because again, this is all to make sure that we only highlight and index pages that are related, that is not, and then making sure that there's no such word as template in the search results. Okay, and same goes to this. Something that I don't, something that I feel a little odd just now was that it gives me a certain type of confusion also, because when I click here, it goes to vloy.com, and then when I go here, it goes to join.vloy.com. So having different landing pages are, you know, for organic search results doesn't feel very seamless. To be honest, it adds up to my confusion. Like I didn't know which page should lead me to the newsletter and everything. So my the goal here is that we have to standardize for organic SEO. I would recommend site links and the main page link to have a consistent hierarchy, same UI and everything, same domain URL, but we can put it in different pages for sure. um, but it has to be a very standardized looking UI, because the UI of vloy.com and joinvloy.com is definitely different. It feels like two different sites. I would recommend doing something like this, experiment this type of landing pages if you want to different, test different version. Most likely, if we can do that via Google Ads, like I would recommend that. If we have a certain keywords we want to target, we build a certain landing page geared for that keyword, and we launch that on Google Ads. Like that's much better practice than having a mixed type of search results organically. So this is something that I would highly recommend. More people writing reviews about Veloy. This is very straightforward. We have Tiger 21 here. When someone wants to search for Tiger 21, they can actually look at the review. You can see that there are many different people, talking about Tiger 21. This is also very important, that we also must follow the same PR techniques by having more journalists, or we don't have to go for the big ones yet. We can go slowly with micro size journalists, you know small business sites, small news sites, with 10 to 50,000 subscribers, and then slowly we move on. Once we build that credibility with the smaller ones, then we slowly grow towards bigger ones, right? And also not forgetting that, listing ourselves in different directories of scam advisory directories, where we would say like realize a legit business that they don't have to worry about putting their money in. Plus we're not, it's not like we're asking $1,000, right? If I remember correctly, just now I saw it was really like a really low price point of 39 euros, from 39 euros. So I think that's still reasonable. Um, Now, not addressing another elephant in the room. It is very surprising that I'm not sure if this is intentional, but it does appear to me like there's a spelling error here. And again, credibility wise, social proof wise, if we were to convert this as an ad on Facebook ads and everything, it's better that, so in the end, we want to, it just gives a certain like, distrust among people. Like they feel like, okay, is this brand made by native Londons or otherwise? So again, as I mentioned, if we were to convert this as Facebook ads or YouTube ads, the last thing we want is people questioning about about the native nature of the company. Being London based, it is very unlikely like we would have spelling errors like this. It's going to be like, again, social proof and credibility, right? So, um, and then another thing is that I still feel like the video content is a little vague, and it does lack philanthropic sense the way, like, when as compared to the way R360 or Tiger 21 does it in their videos. So this is why also it, when it's a little vague, people will think like, oh, is this too good to be true? Like, how can I trust this? It's very, very vague, right? So this is why I feel like, we will need to add some sort of philanthropic sense, which is going to help address the nature of, like, the vagueness, and we're trying to counter the vagueness and making it, more purposeful. So now, then we design plans with different goals, right? I would highly recommend doing this in order to address the philanthropic sense. um, because this is a sample of how our 360 does it, where we, they have different plans for different goals, different personalities. And the benefit of this is that it does allow us to bond more effectively with, because not everyone is going to join fashion parties, fashion shows and everything. Sometimes they want to join because they want to have some sort of a business presence or business matching kind of thing with different business founders, or they might be travel kind, where they might want to go with just travel type kind of stuff rather than going for a fashion show, something like that. So this is very important, that we have to make sure that we can personalize that experience by building different plans, rather than um, having just cater to one personality alone, right? So not only that, I would recommend not only the thing that's very important here is that they need to find the value of why they're paying this much, is that they're going to get access worth 50K or worth 100K. And this is very important because we want to make them feel like it's worth their ROI of actually paying the money for that plan that they're that they're opting in for, when they arrive at the end of the funnel. So this is very important. And not only that, I would actually recommend introducing some sort of a chapter ambassadors for different plans for different personalities. For example, if the socialites, we want to target fashion type of people, we would then connect them to fashion ambassadors. And if they're business type, then we will have them connected with business ambassadors. And I think ambassadors is going to be really important here because, for example, here, an example here is that we would introduce ambassadors per archetype, or personality, depending on, you know, um, depending on which type of personality the target audience is. So here, for example, here, if someone is interested in fashion, we would then try to do an outreach to fashion university dean or student councils, alumni. It's much easier to get ambassadors through this format, followed by, once we get access here, we will never know that, if, let's say, we were to study back where they studied right before, it is very, very likely that when we are connected to the professors or to the deans of where these people are learning from, it is very likely that we're going to get the contacts of these guys as well through the student council or university deans. Speaking this from own experience, it is much easier when you go via educational institution kind of way. And it's the same thing for music as well, where music institutions like Berkeley College of Music have, have created many talented stars, across the Hollywood. And this is where we can get access to more people, um, you know via this institution. We can get these kind of music celebrities to kind of like join Vloid. Same goes to celebrity personalities like, the Emilio, Carby Lame, Zach King, Jessica Alba. you know this, again, this would be a little different. We wouldn't need to go to the institution way, but this is where we go the standard route of getting to deal with their managers, and then get them on board. For business, on the other hand, we can use podcasts as an example, or interviews or conference, where we can get access to these kind of people, um, where I would say that this is the first year where they talk about motivation and stuff. And everyone that likes to be motivated. There are people who may want to be motivated, and they want access to this kind of people. We can group them under the business type, where, because sometimes people want to find purpose in life, business people want to find purpose in life, and these are the guys who can help them achieve that. Then followed by the moguls like Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos. Again, this that is why I put it in tiers here based on the level of difficulty of getting the guys. So now, enough of that. 20 minutes in. Sorry, 20 minutes. Now, what about these two? And as I mentioned, because it's already 20 minutes in, um, the best way to do this is if you are interested to know more, and like if you think that the first 20 minutes is something that like you like and you would like to engage with me more, only then we can discuss further about the viral loop and building the outreach in the later stage, towards hopefully by then we would have we could agree to some sort of working arrangement. From there I can then share more stuff that is going to be really really interesting on how I'm planning to use what kind of channels I want to use and leverage to build the outreach, and how can we build the sort of viral loop, because the viral loop is definitely going to be related to building the outreach as well. So these are the stuff that I'm going to cover in the next call or whatever we're going to have. um, and just to share a little bit about me, I've worked with multiple startups across New York, California, Netherlands, Amsterdam, and Sweden. And you can see here that these are what clients say about me and about the results I've brought. These are another three here. And just to share with you my career journey, I started off as the USA exchange student back in 22 and 2005, when I was stationed in Ohio, and I attended school there, and I was appointed as the culture youth ambassador by the U.S. Department of State. So um, these are some stuff that you can do later, because I'm going to give a copy of this presentation. um, I was a front end dev, working as a front end dev in Joomla, PHP, and WordPress and Bootstrap. So this was when I was in Asia, doing Justin Timberlake, album launch design, where I was involved in building the visuals for Google Ads when they want to launch here in Asia. Then slowly I move on to work with migrated and work with different companies in South America, Mexico, New York, building more stuff in websites and short ads portfolio in the growth department. And then on the same time I've switched career from growth to analytics, and on the same time, I've started traveling to find different growth gigs and speaking gigs, um, and these are as I travel more, I managed to create more achievements in growth in terms of like making sure that they get to hit where they want to be. And so these are some of my achievements made for some of the startups that I'm lucky to work with. um, then I basically decided to return to the original role that I always loved. So basically, it was it was a really fun thing. It was a fun growth journey for me. I started off as a front end dev, right, and then slowly I move on and migrated to do more growth stuff, design stuff, sales stuff. But then the journey came full circle when I decided to do, to also do back, doing, you know, front end data engineer, incorporating data analytics knowledge, which brought me into developing tools in different languages. So yeah, again, hopefully you enjoy my presentation, and hopefully I'll be hearing from you guys about what you guys think, and yeah, um, hopefully to work with you guys on this. I think it's a very exciting project, and we'll love to be part of it. So yeah,